Welcome to Leaders and Learners. My name is Tanya McKenzie, and you can find me at the intersection of public relations and leadership. Join us as we talk to organizational leaders, elected officials, experts, authors, artists, and personalities, sharing their stories, talking about how they got to where they are and how they continue to learn and lead the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Greetings, good people. Welcome back to another episode of Leaders and Learners with your girl T here. I am so excited to bring you someone that is going to teach you a little something about not just marketing and not just business, but really about living your best quality life. And why is that? Because happiness is at the center of everything he does. And hopefully you can learn how to make that happen for you too, because we get back everything that we put off. And how you approach things, how you approach life is pretty much determining what you are going to get back. The result of your work, how you are putting out energy is how it is going to come back. And let me tell you, I have been so energized by one, having a conversation with this guy, and two, continuing to stay connected to him because he always got quality content, something to share and something to teach us. So welcome to another day of getting taught how to do things with joy, with zeal. I'm going to let you meet the Chief Happiness Officer, Mr. Gayle Rogers. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited to hopefully bring the people something that they absolutely need. And, hopefully what you're giving off will allow for them to attract more goodness in their lives, because that's what I get from you. So with that being said, one of the things I want you to share with us, first of all, is what is that behind you?
Oh, so this is the New York pawn shop sign that came with the building that we lease in downtown Birmingham. And it was two things before it was Atomic's headquarters. One, it was an orphanage at one point, and then two, it became the New York pawn shop. And so the sign has stayed here, and we've used it as our background for podcasts and videos and fun stuff like that. So it's sort of a little bit of respect to what was here before us.
I love that. What came before us? Now tell me, how did you wind up, since we're talking about what came before us, how did you wind up doing what you are doing now? Like, what brought you to this point?
Yeah. So I started Atomic in January of 2020. I released myself on my own recognizance from the agency I worked at. And I'd spent the previous, 20 whatever years working for agencies of different sizes and ilks and purposes. And that brought me to a point in my life where I decided that I could have a lot more fun doing the same stuff, but doing it my own way.
And what is your way, sir? What is your way?
I'm still figuring that out. Um, you know, when your compass can kind of be like what makes me happy, that's usually not like one thing all the time. And so I think being able to do a couple things. One is we wanted to 100% know that what we did for our clients and our partners, that it matched our values, right? That we knew that it was producing something for them, and we weren't selling a product, we were selling a result, right? We wanted them to really feel that they had someone that was on their side. And that's not all that can't I mean it's not always the case when you're working in huge, agencies, that they can't function, and they can't be like on top of everybody's needs all the time. It's impossible for, multinational agencies to do that stuff. So that, and then, I really did want it to be about happiness. And there's some places you'll work, uh people sort of feel like, an ambulance is pulling up and we're taking people to the hospital every day, like it's a life and death type of a thing. And it's not. We're in marketing and advertising, and it should be fun. And we don't need to treat it as life and death.
It should be fun. Now, listen, what's fun for you? And then how do people decide if you are who they work with? Because everybody ain't fun. Okay. Not everyone is fun. I talk about personal branding a lot, and I think it is important because not only does your personal brand or your business brand, in your case, let people know if they should work with you, but if you do it right, they also let you know if they shouldn't be working with you. And it seems like you use that, your personality, your, likes, dislikes, strategy, way of doing business as a way to do both. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. I think there's a real truth in the fact that like what I think is funny, other people might not think is funny. And I have a different sense of humor than other people do. I remember one person called us, and she had a medication vitamin that was it helped with incontinence, right? And she's up against like huge brands with huge budgets, and our advice to her was like, you've got to kind of make light of something that may or may not be funny if you want to compete with people that have like way more money than you do. You're trying to outspend Scrooge McDuck here. And if you can put this in a place where you're kind of having fun with it, then I think you got a chance of standing out. And she's like, absolutely not. This is serious. It's a thing, and we're not going to make it be a funny thing. And I'm like, well, then we're not the agency for you. And I think you've got to really decide like who you are and who you want to work with, because that's a lot of being, of having fun means picking and choosing who your clients are and the people that, it's like picking your friends in a lot of ways. And you see this sometimes with people's values for their companies. Like we don't, no a-holes. Like we don't want to work with people that are jerks and treat your people badly and stuff like that. Like, and that's true. And I've worked with agencies where a lot has been let go. You know what I mean? Like like bad behavior was almost encouraged by the clients, and that the people at the agency had to, bow down to that. And I'm like, I just didn't want that here. So we kind of try to take a stand about like, we are who we are to a fault. And if we're not for you, then we're just not for you. It wasn't going to be a good thing either way.
I always wondered if I put, on all marketing pieces and call to actions where, you're like, click here if you want more, or click here or whatever. And you say, unless you're an asshole. Like if we put that, unless you're an asshole. If there are people that would really be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't click here.
I love it. And then later on you can be, if they are an asshole, you can be like, you clicked the button.
I told you I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like that was a social contract when you click that button, so you can't be an asshole.
Now, of course, I can only ask you that because, listen, y'all, I go to this dude's website and first thing that slaps me in the face is kick-ass digit. Like, oh, really? Like you have absolutely no confusion as to who you are, what you are about, and I would say there's no modesty in your ability to get results. Am I off?
Well, you know what? If you don't believe in what you do, then why are you doing it?
I was like, okay, so yeah, results driven, maybe.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing. I love it though. I think being bold, being audacious about your skills, being very upfront about what you can and cannot do, I think that's important. And people don't always do that. Why is that? Why are people afraid to, one, be audacious about their abilities, and two, be honest about maybe what they're not that good at,
Look, I'll say this. This says this here, and it's like, and on top of that, it's like, you're welcome. I think somewhere in there it says things along the line of like, we may be the most, this is like we're the agency the universe has been waiting for.
Okay.
That does not mean I don't have imposter syndrome. I think every person who starts something has a feeling of like, oh my God, am I really going to be able to do this? Like, I haven't met a founder that hasn't had some version of imposter syndrome. And so, it's a little bit like that idea of creating your own narrative. And you can sit there and say like, oh yeah, we're kind of good, or we're we're the third best agency in town. Like of course you don't want to say those things, right? Although that might be kind of funny. I'm like, if I
Right?
like these other two people.
You're
So
like, see,
yeah,
we don't lie. We tell the truth.
that's right. Well, and you certainly have to. And you don't, like, deceiving people's not, the point here. It really is to sort of say this is who we are, and we're these people to a fault. And if that's the kind of people you want to work with, then you're going to like us, and the ideas we bring to you are going to fall in line with that. I'm not the person who's going to bring, I'm going to think of something funny and I'm going to say, oh, this would be really cool, let's do this. And oftentimes you have to figure out what the line is with a client at some point. There's always a line. You won't know it till you cross it. But yeah, I think it's important to try to stand out and not just have a cookie cutter, marketing campaign. And there's so much noise out there, and there's so many people talking, that if you can't be yourself, then what can you be, and how
What
does that
can
make
you be?
you happy? Yeah.
Because you're not going to be good at being anyone else. But listen, rebels, troublemakers, that is what you call your team. Talk about that.
Well, you go and look at like a bunch of other sites, and you look at the About Us and the leadership team and whatever else. And I think I really like that idea of again, not just sort of saying we're different. You see that a lot. We're different, but like we're trying to make some trouble somewhere. Like and if you keep I think a piece of this is internal marketing, is that you kind of have to keep repeating to your team, this is who we are, these are the things that you're encouraged to do, this is the autonomy you have. I want you to go out there and try to break something. Like if you can't go out there and try hard enough to break something, then you're just going to do the basic stuff that you're going to potentially produce. And I want you to take chances. So I want you to be a rebel and a misfit and a troublemaker. On top of that, this is also recruiting. I want people to want to work here. I want people to see that and be like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm a little bit of a misfit. I like to try new things. These are things that's the kind of people that you're looking for. So it's more than just, trying to get clients. It's also about like trying to help people become the best version of themselves. And as I was listening to Mike Michalowicz the other day. He's a great author. He said, like, one of the biggest things we do as business owners is provide safe, emotionally safe, physically safe jobs for people, places to show up and stuff like that, and to be yourself. And if we get to do that way, then I love it.
I love that you said that. So listen, I love this. There's a couple things I need your help with. One, you got a lot of women on your team. Why did you do that on purpose, or are they just the best people? Because best people are women, but I digress. And then troublemakers, I want something like that. And since you're a marketer, I need you to help me with that but I can't use troublemakers because I do PR and I'm supposed to help the people that get in trouble. So help me out, Gayle.
Oof, you put me on the spot for that one. Let's talk about the female thing first.
Yes.
We've hired men in the past. It's just that's happens to be the team that it is right now. But these are mostly people I've worked with in the past at other agencies, and that just happened to be who they were. I mean, there was no, like, I'm not going out saying I'm trying to create a team of just women. It just, those are the people that are on the team right now.
Right.
The best available people, to be out there. Now, as far as what you would name your team, that's a whole nother podcast, right? going into like who we are and what problems do we solve and how do we solve them for clients and how are they going to look at them. One of the things you brought up earlier, and I don't think I touched on this, which is it's okay to like sort of be yourself to a fault, because you're going to attract the people that are going to want to do business with you. And often we have this issue of like this fear of loss. And that's why I think you see so many businesses that sort of default to the middle. Let's just be as average as possible. And that's that whole idea of like, um, you know, if you're not speaking directly to, the people that could be your advocates, then no one's really going to hear you. So if you're just being average, then it's not going to be exciting and no one's going to hear it. So you at least talk to the people that are the people for you. And if someone doesn't want to work with you, they weren't going to, you guys weren't going to get along anyways. So, I don't know, maybe they are troublemakers or trouble breakers, or I don't know.
Troublemakers.
We'll workshop that a little bit and come back to it later.
Sounds amazing. But listen, how do you work with clients that, I don't know, that want some immediate gratification? I know both of us are working industries where there's a level of delayed gratification that comes with results. What is that conversation like? And are they receptive?
Yeah. I have this light switch I installed in the office over there. That's the lead switch. And I often use it as a prop when we have conversations with people because it doesn't work. You can flip it all you want to, but it ain't gonna make it rain anything. And
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just a light switch that just does nothing. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. But it's true. Like we're not magicians. If I had it figured out to where I could flip on a switch and you'd get that instant gratification, you'd be paying me for this conversation, right? Like if I knew something that nobody else knew, I wouldn't be giving it away for free.
Right.
And that all marketing is a process, and it's not this. And if you do figure one thing out, guess what? The landscape's going to change anyways, and it's going to become less effective, and you're going to have to figure out how to do it. So we're all problem solvers, and we're just trying to take the pieces of the puzzle that we can see and put them in the right place, and create the best possible outcome we can. But it's a process, it's a journey, it's not a destination.
One thing that is for sure, marketing and PR are different. They are adjacent, but they are different. Do you find yourself in situations where they hired you for marketing, but maybe they really needed or wanted PR? And how do you have that conversation? What does that sound like?
Well, I do think adjacent is even, they're blending more and more. Mm-hmm. Because it's, we're finding, and we're even sort of moving more towards this idea of creating conversations for people, as opposed to just like, let me create content, or let me create a website, or let me create a social post. We want to create conversations, and those conversations are a little bit like PR in a way. It's not, your sort of old school idea of PR that people have with like this earned media thing where you have this great story to tell and you reach out to all the, your traditional TV radio station type of a thing. But, it's maybe more of like a one-to-one PR thing. So how can we find the people that we hope to have a conversation with and create as many conversations as possible? And I think there's the thing that I could say to most people that would make the most sense is that you have to either be creating the conversation or in the conversation. One of those two things, your marketing has to produce that, whether it's PR, whether it's ads, whether it's SEO, whatever it is, you have to be creating a conversation or be in the conversation.
Yep. I like that. You are the chief happiness officer, but I also know that this is some stressful work. So even on your happiest days, you're probably going to endure a little stress, a little unhappiness sometimes in this business. I'm actually going to be moderating a conversation, I think next month, about mental health in this creative space in PR. But there's so many like PR, marketing, creatives, whatever. So talk to me about days that you aren't the happiest of the chief happiness at Atomic. And how do you do that? What does that look like in your office or with your team? Walk me through that. And how do you get back to happy?
Okay. So let me give you the history of the Chief Happiness Officer title first, and then we'll get to the next piece. So at one point we were talking about like what we produce and how is it different. And we could say like we produce websites or we produce email campaigns or whatever. But really what we produce is happiness, because there was a point in everybody's business where they had this feeling of like sheer optimism, where before they started it or when they took over a role or whatever it was, that like, this is going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. People are going to high five me and be like, you're the best thing that's ever happened at this company, or you're the best thing that blah, 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 blah. And there's a point where there's a roller coaster of like uninformed optimism and then informed pessimism. So the uninformed optimism is the beginning of it, where you're so happy about it, and then stuff kind of gets in the way, and there's other things you have to deal with that you didn't like and whatever else. And then you become a little bit jaded by it. And we didn't want to be the producers of websites or marketing. We wanted to be the producers of happiness. We wanted to take you back to that place where your business became the thing you always hoped it would. So that's the genesis of the Chief Happiness Officer. Now, to answer your question more directly, when it comes to like being happy here in mental health, because even when you try as hard as you want to, there's going to be tough days, and there's going to be days when 3 clients call you up and say, hey, we're going to make a change, or because of this, we can't work together anymore. And those are tough days. And I think, as a, as a parent and as a business owner and as someone who feels responsible to troublemakers, that you've got to really work on, all the things that help to keep you feeling good. I think that having someone to talk to, be it a therapist or a wife or a partner or a husband or whatever, like having someone you can confide in is hugely important, that, can listen and give you some help. And I think, getting out and going for a walk or having a gym close by or having something that takes you out of the work is super important, because it is not, always sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts. Like there's there's some bullshit that happens too.
That part, sir.
Yeah, I think you got to try to do the best for you and try to keep yourself healthy. And I think you got to prioritize health and exercise and making, good food choices. What's something I heard recently? Use your food as your medicine, or else medicine will be your food.
Oh, I like that.
It's a good one.
You can't do that with wine.
Yeah, everything in moderation, Tanya. Everything.
Oh my God. Tell me one of your favorite clients, and are you still working with them?
Oof. Oh, you're gonna make me tell you, like, name check them?
Oh yeah. And they were your favorite? Absolutely. And I'll put them in the captions too. Go ahead. Give
You
them
know
a toot
what?
toot.
I'll tell you one of my favorite ones, who is currently not a client. There are circumstances outside of his control, and he is not a client currently. And his name's Nathan Stuckey, and he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome, because he's worked on the agency side and now he's working on the client side at this moment. Anybody that's been on both sides kind of understands how things work. Is always someone who just he's a special person anyways, like his level of empathy and even just, I think as a person, is awesome. But he just kind of he's someone who I'll always want to work with. And he's like he could call me up and be like, "Hey dude, I need you to do something." And I would be there like right away to help him out. But I do like we've had clients from the first, couple of months that we were in business that we still have now. Um and I'm not going to say like all my clients are always good and we don't have any attrition. Like we've had some clients.
The lies, the
Yeah,
lies.
that's right. The lies we tell. We had some people that I don't know. Just because you own a business doesn't make you a good business owner.
Mm.
And so there's some people that are difficult personalities and some people that we've had to say that this isn't a good fit and it is what it is. But we have a good number of people that are good people and their businesses do good things. And I really like, most all of the people that we work with, or else I wouldn't work with them. It's not life's too short for that nonsense.
Totally, it is. But now you bring me to another question, which is people that are you're not working with, like maybe friends and family who think because you are so good at what you do and sometimes you can just whip things out, then maybe you can just do a thing for them. Like it doesn't cost you time or money. So what how do you respond to that? Because I'm struggling a little bit myself. So I figured, as someone that is as experienced as yourself, you can share with me so the rest of the people can share, can get some jewels and stop pigeonholing themselves into the for the free movement. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Free 99. Um, so I think it's hard. Like there are people that I'll still do stuff for and I shouldn't. And that's just because I like helping people
I do
and
too.
and
Jesus.
I know I think it's okay that you do that kind of a thing from time to time. And maybe I even thought about creating this program that was almost like a scholarship where
Hmm.
people could like if you need my help, I want you to fill out this big thing of paperwork. Like you've got to go and do an application and tell me why and all this stuff. And if it's a good fit for us, then we'll build you something and really help you out. Like I think that would be a really cool way to still be able to give back to the community and help a small business that needs more without being someone who undervalued not just your time. I think it's the biggest thing of all agencies is you undervalue your expertise. Like
Hmm.
you and I have been in this game for a minute, right? And all the lessons we've learned along the way have value to them. So it's not just about what I'm doing for you for the next 45 minutes. It's what I learned the previous 25 years that makes it to where I can do that in 20 minutes. So it's like, don't punish me because I'm good and fast at what I do by saying like it only took you 20 minutes to do that. Like, no, 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 no. It took me 25
20
years,
years.
not 20 minutes. And it would take you forever to do this. And when you did it, it would not be good. So I think like we have to value not just our time but our expertise and the things that we've learned, and it's hard sometimes to put a number on it. And I think probably the best advice is like, put a number on something, sell it to 10 people, and then move that number up and sell that to 10 people. And when 10 people stop buying it, then you're at your number. And that's what the value of what the market would do. I mean, that's a way to do it. How to stop helping, people or giving stuff away. I don't know. I mean, if I actually, the best way to do it is if I called my wife up before I did it and say, "Hey, should I do this?" She'd be like, "Hell no."
Oh no.
A
Same as
bill.
mine.
Send them a bill because they don't have that
Invoice.
attachment, right? Yeah,
Right.
they're like, mm-mm.
I actually start running things by Ray. Usually now, even if it is a paid client, I'll still run it by him because
Yeah.
sometimes we undervalue ourselves too.
I think of you all
So
the time. Yeah, I call her.
yeah,
Well, she calls her like lovingly the dream sniper. So I'll be like, "I got this great idea." She's like, "Pew, pew, pew, pew. Nope, not gonna happen."
well, I'll be like, well, who does it benefit? How much does it pay? Divide that by your time. Blah, blah. I'm like, okay, yeah. Matter of fact, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving
no,
on.
not doing
Moving.
that.
Yeah.
Thanks. Um, 3 words that you would never want affiliated with you.
in context, I could use any word, but let's see, that I would never want affiliated. Cruel. I would
Okay.
never want that word affiliated with me. Um, yeah, I mean, I think they would be things like, uh, yeah, doesn't care is 2 words. Careless, cruel, and um, I don't know, maybe mean falls in there too. I probably can be mean sometimes. Um, those would be the ones that I think that would hurt my feelings if someone said I had, I was heartless and cruel and careless.
Okay. In the time I've known you, I would say selfish. I would say boring.
Yeah, boring would
And
be
I would say stupid or inexperienced.
okay.
How
Boring
did
and stupid would be bad. Yeah, that would hurt.
how'd I do? How'd I do?
No, you did way better than me. Way better than me. I need to write those down.
I love that. I love that. So what does your personal brand say about you and your business?
I mean, well, this is I think with any business owner, one of the hard things we have is like, I'm my business is me. And it becomes your identity in a lot of ways. And so trying to kind of separate those two things can sort of be hard. Mine's probably not very far away from like that whole like being a smart ass. I mean, at the first, kick ass digital marketing, you're welcome. Like, how much more of a smart ass can you be than that? So, and I mean it in a loving way, but still, it's still sarcastic. But I don't know. I mean, I think the brand, I'd like it to be less about me. Now as we're starting to get a little more grown up. Because in the beginning, it's hard to not make it that way. And so we're even going through the process of a little bit of a rebrand for the agency. Not only from a little bit of a services standpoint, but also like, if you see the site, it's very much like a very masculine, like, hard, bold colors and big images and, all this stuff. And so
But women, though, to me though, I mean, you say that, but right now color blocks are in with women's fashion. So I don't know. You
this
might be
might be
off a little bit.
it might be a chicken or an egg thing. I think I might have started this whole color block
Okay.
angular
Okay.
thing. Listen, I have redesigned our site 3 times personally, like gone and designed the whole thing and wrote all the content, all that nonsense. And now finally I hired an outside designer to come in and say, help me do this. Cause when I get done with it, I'm like, I hate it. I want to start over again. And that's what ends up happening with it. So, but I think I want to see something that has a little more depth to it than, the 3 or 4 colors that we have in, and have a different eye to kind of look at it. And so anyways, I'm trying to get it to be a little bit less about just what I think and what I want, and a little bit more about kind of a bigger picture. And I mean, there's still going to be all that sarcasm and, bravado and all those other things in there, just a little bit of maybe a softer way to present it, for no other reason than I think I want to see that change.
I can appreciate that. Who is your ideal client? Who do you like to work with and collaborate with?
People I like.
Okay. Oh,
So kind of the and this is a little bit of I don't want to say it's premature, but a little bit peek under the tent of, we are moving towards a redefinition of conversational marketing. So conversational marketing as it is today is really like chatbots on
mm,
websites. If you go look it up, that's what it is. It's this whole automation of speaking with your, ideal customer. Well, that's chatbot marketing, or, conversational AI. And so we're going to reclaim this. And what we see this as is reaching out to your customers, the people you want to work with, experts in your industry, um, talking to lateral businesses, and and having a, just like this, a one-to-one conversation with them, and then using that conversation as expert driven content, like anti AI, not BS that is run of the mill average content. That, being able to create video and social and just much more meaningful content, and kind of getting back to the basics, because we're trying to scale everything, right? We want this one to many thing, and I think we're losing this human relationship that our marketing should be creating for us. And so I say all that is to say, we really are looking in places like the tourism industry, is a great place for this. Community businesses like banks, who could really help, underserved parts of the community from a capital standpoint. Incubators where, people are trying to grow a business and get it off the ground. Places where collaboration and conversation is key to helping growth. And that can manifest itself in a lot of ways. Real estate's another really, really good one, because there's so many good conversations to be had around the house. But that's anywhere where people were talking to each other and creating a relationship and a conversation. Those are good clients for us.
I love to hear it. So you guys heard them. If you're a good client, hit them up. Let the people know how they get in contact with you, how they can just continue to follow your journey, see your new website when you're done getting it done, and all that cool stuff. Let the people know.
Yep. So theatomicagency.com, not to be confused with the International Atomic Agency that blows stuff up. By the way, I called it Atomic, and then I bought the domain. I was like, great domain. And then I realized I was competing with the International Atomic Agency.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm winning, though. I don't think they have anybody that's an SEO on their team. And then I'm on LinkedIn a lot. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and all the other social stuff I usually keep fairly personal. But yeah, those are two best places: our website and LinkedIn.
Social is getting crazy. I guess while I have you, I would love for you to weigh in on when people are trying to feel like, do I have to be on everything? Do I have to be everywhere? How do you decide what it is, which channel, which platform you are going to, or that you should spend the most time on?
That's a great question. So I would say first and foremost is that as a business and as an individual, you should claim all the handles that are out there. So even if you're not on Threads or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever it is, go ahead and just have it. So then you're owning your own footprint in that sense, and no one else can be another Gayle Rogers out there. If your domain comes up, go and buy that domain. So you want to, even if you don't plan on having your own website, just own those things. Then when it comes to what you want to spend your time on, do the thing that comes easiest for you first. If you're creating a lot of video, then, Instagram and TikTok might be great for you. Even if you don't think your audience is necessarily there, it's okay to put it there, because if you're creating video for, say, YouTube, then you've created video for Instagram, and you've created video for TikTok, and you've created video for LinkedIn. So you might as well put it there. It's not hard to do it at that point.
Right.
But just find where your tribe is, find the people that you like to talk to. But I use them for different things. So I use Twitter to keep up with Manchester United and have conversations about that over there. And then I'll use LinkedIn for business stuff or catching up with people and doing a little bit of networking. So I don't think there's one that wins the day. I think you use different ones for different reasons, but certainly, consistency is probably the best key.
Consistency is the key. What tools are you using to help you be consistent?
Sprout. It's not free.
No,
it's not. It is not. And when I get that bill, I'm like, damn it, Gina. Why are we spending this money?
Why are we here?
Yeah, but it's, that's the, you got to provide the tools that the team needs to be efficient, and that is what it is. But yeah, something like Sprout, any kind of aggregator where you can put it in one place and push it out. There's a lot of them out there. I don't have to name check all of them, but that's the one we use.
So funny to me how some of them started a while ago and they were free, and now they are astronomical in price. And I ain't gonna call out no names, but I definitely side eye some of those tools that I don't like that. That's not nice.
It isn't. And then, like, if you want to have a client that gets in there and has some access, then it's another $200 a month for that, and you're just like, damn.
Yeah, y'all play too much. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You tech people, you guys play too much. Get us all in love, and then you want to treat us bad. I don't like that.
That's
I
right.
don't like that. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us. Please, please, let's stay connected. Matter of fact, when you relaunch your site, come on for a sec, share with us. I think the work you do is dope. You're funny, you're fun. You're my people, so we're good. We're always good.
I love you, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Hey, have a good weekend. So for those of y'all know when you're gonna listen to this, but it's Friday right now, and I think you deserve to have an amazing weekend with your dream killer.
Oh, well, I wish I could. She left me and went to Mexico this morning. She went
Is
with
that?
she went to Cancun for the weekend. So I got the ankle biters and the crumb snatchers at home
Oh,
myself. That's right.
she's awesome.
Oh, she's got it locked. You want to talk to somebody who's got it figured out? Talk to her.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again so much for being here, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for showing up to the podcast where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. When you get a sec, take a moment, leave a comment. What do you think about today's episode? And share it with someone that you know could use the gems that were dropped today. Follow and subscribe. You don't want to miss who's coming up next. You never know who could show up here and what they could say. For your professional needs, marketing, PR, communications, and leadership, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sand and Shores, or hit us up at sandandshores.com. Again, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.